Hi, my name is T1. I am an agricultural business student, and my question is for Ms. McGruder. I wanted to ask, I was also a shout out because I'm from Montgomery. I know you said you work in policy, and I wanted to ask, what are some of the unethical things that you've seen within that field, and what do you think can be done to combat them either now or in the future?
So if I understand the question, you asked what are some of the unethical things I have seen being in the food policy world, and how do I suggest that we address them? That is a doozy of a question, my friend. So we live in a world that is based off of patriarchy and white supremacy. And so that is a part of every single system that exists. And that includes our system of food, that includes Congress, that includes the Farm Bill. So everything that dictates what money comes down through the USDA, how that money gets distributed to what universities, which farmers are able to get loans to do certain things. And maybe now today we don't see as much of those barriers, but we know that historically those barriers have been huge, particularly for those of us who are from Alabama and who come from a farming background. We have had farms that have had their land taken away from them, that have applied for loans to keep their land during hard times and been denied for no other reason than the fact that they were African American. So when we talk about inequities or unethical things or injustices in food policy, we have to look at this system, and that's what I mentioned before, is like being a systems thinker means that you don't look at things in isolation. So if you are a person who goes into a loan office and they deny you the loan, you don't just say, hey, probably I'm just not a good candidate. Maybe you think more systems-wide. You think, okay, let me talk to 5 people in my community who I've known have applied for the same loan and figure out how are we similar, how are we different, what did they get told when they went into the office. Maybe we should talk to an attorney and figure out, make sure we're doing the right thing, or make sure there's not any discrimination going on. So I think, you know, as far as the unethical things that I've seen, it is the absolute root of the system is based on slave labor. That is the basis of our country. That is the basis of our food system. That is the basis of food policy. So the whole thing's rotten, and that doesn't mean that there's not beauty and growth within that. Because we all know, for those of us who are into composting or vermiculture, things that look rotten to other people, or things that, you know, may just be trash to someone else, you can actually turn that into money. You can turn that into, you know, black gold is what we call composted soil. So, you know, I don't say these things to like make you feel like I feel negative about where we're at or what we can do with food policy. I feel overwhelmingly positive and optimistic, but I do think it's important, if we're going to progress, we have to know where we're coming from, we have to know our history, and we have to be able to articulate that to people who would otherwise deny that these injustices exist and might try and blame those who are suffering from those injustices as the actors that created them. Or it might just say, hey, you know, a hit dog will holler, and it's like, yeah, because you're hitting the dog. So, you know, I think we have to look at where we come from and how we perpetuate or don't perpetuate these systems that are inequitable.
Can I just